Good morning, everyone. It's Dana here with a project that I'm doing. And in a previous video, I had done the little recipe card and cards that I sent to people on my list that I wanted to make sure to keep in contact with during all this quarantine where we're not able to meet together, and whether it's for coffee or church or anything, everything seems to be online, at least for me. And so if you remember from the other video, I have a list of about a dozen people that I love and mean so much to me, ladies, that I want to make sure to keep in contact with. And so this is a small little project that I've been that I want to do, that I may not mail them out because they're quite thick, but a lot of the ladies live close to me, so I may take a day and just kind of hand deliver and drop them off on porches and things like that. So I wanted to make some simple journals, and I'm going to do it traveler's notebook style. This is inspired by an older video from Crafty Crafts by Dina. I get a lot of inspiration from her. And so this is really cute. This one's actually for me, but I have a dozen of them in process off to the side here, in various stages, for my friends. So I'm using some papers today that I picked up a Tuesday morning quite a long time ago from this an Authentique. It's called Jeremy, and I hadn't broken into this yet, and so I love this collection, so I'm going to make mine out of this. So let me show you. I've already made cuts, and I want to show you what I've got here. So this is going to be my cover, and this measures 11 inches wide by 7 1/4 tall. These journals are going to be about 5 by 7. So 11 and 7 1/4 for the cover. Then I'm going to be putting a notebook in there. So obviously, because it's a journal, so this is going to be the cover of my notebook. This measures 10 1/4 wide by 7 inches tall. And then this we're going to turn into a folder, and this measures 10 by 10 square. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my cover. Let me grab my scoreboard really quick, and we'll make all of our scoring lines at the same time so we can then put our scoreboard away. Okay, I got all kinds of tools and things here. Okay, so my cover, with the 11-inch side up on the scoreboard, we're going to score at 5 1/4, 5 1/2, and 5 3/4. Okay, so 3 score marks there. Okay, let me make sure I'm in frame here. Sorry. So that was 5 1/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4. Set that to the side. My notebook cover with the 10 1/4 inch side up in the scoreboard, I'm going to score at 5 1/8. And that's it. And for my folder, this is my folder, and I think I'm going to have this side out. Okay, so we're going to score in half at 5. Then we're going to rotate 1/4 of a turn and score at 7. Okay, that's all of our score lines. All of our scoring's done. This goes together really quick. Okay, so let me grab my bone folder and my scissors, and let's start working with these. Okay, so this is our folder. We're gonna fold and burnish on our score lines. I've got my laminator heating up on the side here. Okay, so we folded and burnished on both of those score lines. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it back in half vertically with the fold side to my right, because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, it would be on your left. And right here on this score line, our 7-inch score line here, we're just going to cut a little V out of our folder, just like that. So that when we open it up, this is going to be our folder. Okay, so I'm going to take some glue. Hopefully my glue cooperates with me. It's almost gone. Okay, and we're just going to put some glue right on the sides of our flaps here. We're going to glue those down. Just bring those up. Glue those flaps down. Okay, now I'm going to round this corner, and I'm going to use the 1/4 inch side of my corner rounder for this whole entire project. All right, folder is done. Okay, so let's set that aside. Okay, this is our notebook cover. We're just going to fold and burnish on our score line. And I'm going to round both these corners. And that's ready to go. Okay, my cover, I'm going to just round all the corners here. And what I'm going to do, let me get all my little bits off to the side here. Okay, so we made 3 score lines. I'm only going to fold and burnish the outer 2 score lines. So just the outer 2. That middle one is more of just like a marker for us of where the middle is of our cover. Okay, so I'm going to laminate this, but before I do that, I wanted to put something really cute on the cover here. So what I've done is I just took a cut apart from the collection, and this collection didn't have stickers, it actually had die cuts. So what I did was just added a couple of little cute little die cuts to it. And then I matted it on craft colored cardstock, and I'm going to put that right on the cover. So let's glue that down. Okay. And I'm just going to center this. This is my, if you need to, just fold it so you can see where the center is. I love this paper collection. It's so sweet. Okay. Put the pin in my glue here. All right. So I've got just my laminating sheet here. I'm going to open this up. And get this into the laminating pouch. And I'm butting it right up against that edge, that sealed edge. And I'm going to pop this into my laminator, and while this laminates, we'll work on the notebook. Okay, got that going through the laminator. Okay, so what I'm using for the notebook is just, these are 5x7. They're called Junior Composition Notebooks here, 80 sheets. I got these at Walmart. Okay, I always keep a stash of these because they're great for making journals and things like that. I also like to take them apart and coffee dye them, and then I use those pages in my journals. Okay, so what I had was a stack of these, but I was running a little low and I wanted to make 12, and I only had 6 notebooks left, or I can't remember how many I had left, but basically it worked out where I split these up into, I used 2 notebooks to make 3. I used 2 of these notebooks to make 3 of the notebooks that are going to go into my journal. So I just used like 26 or 27 pages out of each to do 1 notebook for what I'm making. So I have that ready here. Let me get some paper clips. Okay, so how I'm gonna bind this is I'm gonna sew it. Okay, so I wanna be able to secure this with some paper clips so that things don't shift around while I'm trying to sew, because especially when you're sewing multiple pages like this, in the sewing machine, it has a tendency to slip around. So I'm just matching up my burnished edge here, my score line with the middle of the paper. And then I'm just going to place some clips so that these hold in place and don't move around on me when I'm sewing it. Now, your sewing machine may differ, okay? But I know that my sewing machine can handle this 26 pages here. This paper is super thin. It's not real thick. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew right down the middle here, okay? And I'll be right back. Okay, so I've sewed down the middle of my notebook. So now I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to re-burnish the side here. Okay, so now our notebook is ready to go. And my cover was done in the laminator. So now let's prep this to finish up this journal. So what I'm going to do is trim away the excess laminating sheet here. And I'm leaving roughly about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, because you don't want to go into that air pocket or your sides will end up unsealed. So we'll just trim this away. Oops. Get that lined up again. All right. Oops. Didn't quite go through in this one little section, so I'm just going to snip it. Snip that away. It's hard to see with it being clear. There we go. All right. So we're done with the trimmer. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to round the laminated corners here. So that we're all set. I don't like those pokey corners on the laminating sheet. They actually hurt quite a bit. So now I'm going to re-burnish on my... The reason we burnished our paper before we laminated it is because once it's laminated, it will find those creases very easily. So if I just push on this, it's going to find that score line. All right. So here we have our cover. Really cute. Okay. So I want to show you something here. I'm going to point with my scissors. So we have our 2 score lines here. We're going to punch 2 holes See our middle one here that we did not fold and burnish on. So if you can see that. There it is. We're going to punch a hole at the top. We're going to punch 2 holes. 1, 2. Right in between these score lines near the top of the paper. Okay. So I'm using just the smallest hole on my Crop-A-Dile. Okay. And I'm just going to poke 1 hole in between each score line, and I didn't even do those even. That's okay, it's for me. I don't have my head above it. Here we go. 1, 2. Okay, so that's better. Okay. Now we need to do our center hole. Now, I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile Big Bite. If you don't have this, you could totally use an owl or a pokey tool or anything that's going to poke a hole for you big enough to get your elastic in. Okay, and on the center score line that we did not fold and burnish is where I'm going to poke my hole, and I'm just going to eyeball the center here and poke our hole there in the middle. Okay, all right, now we're ready to put this together. So cute. This is going to be really cute. Now, you can do so much more with these. You can add pockets. There's so much more you could do with them. So use your imagination. Let's bring our folder and our notebook back in. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of elastic here. This one is for the notebook and folder to hang on to. This is roughly 2.5 lengths of the size of. So if you're doing a bigger one or even a smaller one, okay, to lace your strings, however many, or your elastic, I should say, you could use string here, however many strands you're going to have. So I'm going to have 2 bands. You're going to do that many plus a half lengths for your, I'm sorry, my mind is just not here. However many lengths of your cover for however many bands. So if I had 3 bands, I would want to use 3 lengths, 3.5. Okay, so I'm going in through the outside of the cover, okay? And I'm just following the holes. Go down through the next hole, up, over through the next hole. Okay, this length over here. Just following the holes. Okay, and I want to pull it snug, but not too tight. Okay, I want it to hold my notebook, but I don't want it to buckle the cover. Okay, and now I'm just going to tie a knot. That looks about good. Again, snug, but not to where it's going to buckle your cover. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to snip these because we don't want them this long. Snip those off. And then I'm going to take a lighter and just touch the end of the elastic, and that'll keep it from fraying. Okay. So we have our 2 bands in. Okay, now I want a band that's going to go around to keep it closed. So the easiest way I have found to do this, I struggled for a long time on how to do this, is I wrap my band around the outside, okay, bringing it up to the front. If I could grab a hold of it. Sorry about that. Jeez. Okay. And what I do is I tie my knot while it's around the cover here, because we want it snug, but not too tight. We definitely don't want any flack in it. And then I tie my knot right here. Okay. So I know it's the perfect snugness, if that's a word. Okay, so it's not too tight and it's not too loose. So I'm now going to trim my elastic and burn the edges of it to keep it from fraying. Okay, now I'm going to take the end that has the loop, not the knot, and I'm just going to feed it through this middle hole here, and it's perfect. There. And it's the perfect width. That's what I've found. I struggled always with getting that middle band to be the right length, and I found that's the way that works best for me. Okay, so let's load our stuff in. So let's load our notebook in. Just open it up to the middle and slide it under that first band. I plan on putting my notebook in the front and my folder in the back, but certainly you can do it however you want to. It is your journal. And then I'll put my folder in here. And that's what we have. And I'm going to fill my folder with some ephemera, maybe some journaling cards, stickers, anything I want to use in my journal. Okay? And there we go. That is really cute and makes a great little gift, and it's very quick to put together. And I'm going to make a bunch of these, and I'm going to probably make, with my offcuts, I'm going to make cards that match and write little notes to my friends and drop these off on their doorsteps in a pretty little envelope. So that's that, and I'm going to be making another video of something very similar, but it's going to be a recipe one, a recipe traveler's notebook, because my daughter keeps asking me for recipes, the one that moved to Utah. So I'm just going to send her a book. So we'll do that in the next video. Until then, guys, God bless. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.